my name's Tamika. This is Library of Tomes, where I talk to you about all the bookish things going on in my life. Hi, welcome back. I hope that you're doing good. I am so excited for day 7 of the 12 days of HEAs. Today, Romance Booktubers are recommending some friends to lovers romances. And again, when I was making this list of topics, I was like, hopefully I'll have one. Like, I'll just have one, because this is not a trope that I normally read from. But a lot of my friends do read this trope, so I wanted to include it. And I do have one. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw it to the other Romance Booktubers, and then we will hop back over here and I will tell you mine.
Hello friends and enemies, my name's Izzy or Isabel. I'm from the channel Happy For Now, here with my friends to lovers pick for the 12 days of HEAs. Okay, so this is really hard because I picked this trope because it's actually not a trope I would say I love particularly, but I did find one this year that I really loved, so I wanted to share it with y'all in that context as someone who isn't a big fan of this trope. I loved Like Lovers Do by Tracy Livesay this year so much. This book is a friends to lovers, but they're friends as adults, not children, so for me that works really well because I don't like an excess of pining personally. I think that can get a little squicky, like icky, gross for me if there's too much pining, like early on in the book. And yeah, so there's that. And then this book follows Nick and Ben, who live together as roommates. Nick is like this really great doctor. She's finishing up her fellowship, or no, her residency, and going on to a really prestigious fellowship for like some sort of surgery thing. Fossils, y'all, it's fossils, who cares, right? But it works out because she's getting kind of blackmailed by this like student that's a rich donor's kid, and he's like trying to get her kicked out of the program and destroy her life because she told him not to do something that was like not a good practice as a doctor, and he got mad about it. So because of that, they Ben, who is also like from a rich family of course, kind of helps her out in exchange for her pretending to be his girlfriend on a trip to Martha's Vineyard. So they go to Martha's Vineyard and like his ex is there and she's there to help to deter her. It's such a good book. It unfolds beautifully, like the whole story. We also get to see the friends from the first book, but you do not have to read that first book to read this book, which is great. And you also get hammock sex, so like who can say no to that? Like a good time in a hammock happens. And you know, I don't know how well that would work in real life, but it was very fun to read. So definitely check out Like Lovers Do by Tracy Livesay if you want a really great friends to lovers romance.
Hello everyone, my name's Hima from the channel Nayema's Read, and today we are talking about our favorite friends to lovers romance books. You guys know if you watch my channel, not assuming here, but if you do, friends to lovers really isn't what I like to read. I like to read about enemies. I like to read about hate to love. And recently I've been getting into friends to lovers, so I signed up for this day and I'm so excited to talk to you guys about one of my favorites. So the book that I'm choosing for friends to lovers is Him by Serena Bowen and Elle Kennedy. This is the first book that I read that was kind of like a duo from them, and I absolutely adored it. It was so good. It's a sports romance about two best friends who play hockey. When the heroes were younger, they would go to hockey camp and play, training to become the best, until their last year of hockey camp where something goes down and they haven't talked to each other in, I think it's a couple of years. So fast forward years later, both of their teams are competing in the Frozen Four, which is like the big hockey tournament, and they reunite again and they decide to go back to the camp they attended when they were younger and be camp counselors together. So I love this book so much. It's really about finding out who you are and the love that they had for each other when they were younger, and you just see how that progresses as they grow up, especially with them having that big conflict in the middle. So yes, that is my favorite friends to lovers book at the moment. I love this book so much. Also, big thank you to Tamika for letting me join the 12 days of HEAs. This is so much fun and I can't wait to see what everybody else picks for friends to lovers. Bye.
Hey y'all, what's up? My name is Avery from the channel Avery Loves Books, where I read the majority of romance novels. So for today's prompt, we have the best friends to lovers book you've ever read. And for this one, it's a staple on my channel. Everybody knows that this is my favorite friends to lovers romance book of all time. And if you haven't read it yet, what are you doing with your life? It is Radiance by Grace Draven. This is actually a fantasy romance. I absolutely adore fantasy romance novels and I need to read more of them, but this one is absolutely amazing. So this book takes place in a fantasy land where we have two different types of people. We have the Gallery, who are basically humans, and then we have the Kai, who are gray-skinned, yellow-eyed, looks very different from a human being. These two races do not intermingle at all, they don't interact at all, they find the other race completely repulsive. They just do not get along at all. They're not at war with each other, but they're indifferent to one another. And so this book is all about Ildiko and Brishan is the spare heir to the Kai, and he gets put in an arranged marriage with a Gallery woman whose name is Ildiko, who is the orphaned niece to the Gallery king. So they get put in this arranged marriage. First time they meet, tell each other how ugly they think the other person is, but they're able to laugh about it and become friends and connect on an emotional and friendship level. And then throughout their marriage, they slowly start developing feelings for one another, and it's absolutely beautiful to witness it. Friends to lovers is one of my favorite tropes of all time, and this one just takes the cake for the best one for sure. So yes, Radiance is my favorite friends to lovers, and I hope that you enjoy it as well.
Hi friends, my name is Shae. Welcome to Shae Geeks Out, and I am so grateful for Tamika for inviting me into these collaborations. So for today's video, we're talking about friends to lovers romances. My favorite friends to lovers that I have read in the year of 2020 is Crazy Stupid Bromance by Lyssa Kay Adams. This is the third book in the Bromance Book Club series. In this one, we're following Noah. We met Noah in book 2. He is a former hacker, reformed hacker, I guess you could say, and he has made really good friends with this woman named Alexis, who was kind of helped out in the end of book 2. That's all I'll say. I don't want to spoil book 2. But anyways, Alexis and Noah over the last year and a half have formed a beautiful friendship. Both of them want to take it to the next level, but they don't want to lose their friendship. And this is really beautiful. It deals with all sorts of things. It deals with victims of domestic abuse and things like that. It's really chock full of amazing things. And Noah is essentially recruited into the Bromance Book Club so that he can learn how to go to the next level with Alexis. It's so sweet. It's so lovely. My favorite in the series thus far, and definitely worth checking out. Thanks again for watching. You can find me at all my socials at Shae Geeks Out, and I will see you guys in another video.
Hey guys, I'm Jessen from Jessen Reads Romance, and I'm so excited to be back for another recommendation for Tamika's 12 Days of HEA, this time with a Friends to Lovers recommendation. Friends to Lovers is fast becoming one of my favorite tropes in romance. It used to be enemies to lovers, but there's something really special about the change in relationship that happens in Friends to Lovers, and yeah, I'm definitely gravitating to this way more. One of my favorite Friends to Lovers romance is Dating-ish by Penny Reed. This is a part of her Knitting in the City series, but it can be totally read as a standalone. Matt and Marie meet on kind of a blind date gone wrong, but Matt is actually doing a social experiment, and Marie has no idea, so the blind date is not really a blind date. Once Marie figures this out, she's embarrassed and offended, and they keep on popping up in each other's lives. Marie is a journalist, and she's so fed up of the dating scene, I can totally relate, that she decides to research alternate methods of being intimate. This includes hiring a professional cuddler and also orgasm meditation. It's very interesting. Matt is fascinated by what she's doing, and they fast become friends because Matt is trying to understand intimacy and relationships. He had an upbringing that sort of makes it difficult for him to understand the importance of intimate relationships, and that it can't be satisfied with like an algorithm, a program, or a robot. So Matt accompanies Marie on a lot of her interviews and research. The friendship aspect is a little bit of an accident just because they spend so much time together, but Marie starts developing feelings for Matt, and she does not know what to do with them because Matt is a little bit emotionally stunted. It's such a fun read. Penny Reed has amazing humor, and I love this couple to death. Highly recommend. You should go read it.
So for my recommendation, I wanted to pick one that I really loved, and this is one that I have recommended and I've talked about in a couple videos, and that is Eleanor and Gray by Brittany C. Cherry. This book is such a good romance. So this one is a childhood friends to lovers. They have a romantic, well, semi-romantic. They have a really great friendship as children, and they have feelings for each other, but because of childhood circumstances, they are not, or circumstances that they have where she has to move, they aren't able to really act on their feelings.
and it's them coming together years later, and she becomes the nanny to his kids, so they have to learn to be friends again, and it is absolutely adorable. I love Eleanor and Gray. I love the dual timeline of the childhood aspect because they are friends when they're in high school and then them when they come back together years later, and I loved the way they drifted apart. It was absolutely beautiful. I absolutely love this story and I really recommend it. It is one of the only books I've read where a friends to lovers trope didn't really bore me. I guess it's not necessarily that friends to lovers bores me, it's just I never gravitate to it because I don't feel like it pulls my attention enough, but I do like them when I read them mostly. And this is a good example of that, and I really like this book and I really recommend you check it out. So those are the friends to lovers recommendations that the Romance Booktubers and I came up with. So I hope that you all are enjoying the 12 days of HEAs. If you want links to any of the books or any of the other Romance Booktubers, those are in the description, and I will chat with you all tomorrow in the 8th day of the 12 days of HEAs.